Welcome to July the 2nd. I'll start from 2017, go back to 2014, and take it from there. Something should not happen, but they do. I have stood up against pedophiles, bullies, and I know they have a long reach. Economically, I've been ruined by the pedophile protection lobby, so I have an insight into the workings of that lobby, which is why I have never endorsed the hate campaign against Cardinal Pell. It is worth revisiting what has happened in the public domain so as to understand why the current situation of Pell is declared an injustice by those who follow such things. Back in the late 90s, Pell was Archbishop of Melbourne. He was a conservative supporter of John Paul II and was effective and so promoted to Archbishop of Sydney in 2001 and then Cardinal in 2003. Pell had set up a Catholic response to sex crimes within the church. He made sure that the abused were compensated and he put a stop to known abusers. The laws at that time, prior to the Woods Royal Commission into policing branching into pedophile teachers, did not allow an organization like the church to respond then as they can today. Had Pell denounced a priest on suspicion alone, he would have exposed the church to frivolous lawsuits which then enriched pedophiles. Even so, Pell was denounced as a conservative. In 2001, Anglican Bishop Hollingsworth became Australian Governor-General following the abysmal William Dean. Hollingsworth faced a campaign against him for apologising for not doing enough to rid the Anglican Church of pedophile ministers. Pell had nothing to apologise for, having acted appropriately. In fact, Hollingsworth probably had acted appropriately too, but saw it as his duty to apologise as a Christian and so setting an example. Military people seem to make better governors. Hollingsworth had to stand down because of media controversy. The tagging of Pell as having been derelict in his duty had never been substantiated and was not even claimed until after the lobby had had success forcing Hollingsworth out of Governor-General's chair. On a number of occasions, Pell has addressed every charge put to him in recent years. Victorian police have begun leaking allegations of actual abuse against Pell, but not of dereliction of duty. Some of the leaked allegations were demonstrably false. Now the issue has risen that Pell is not having his counsel paid for and must fund his defense against lies, smears, leaks, and it looks like the Pope has used the pedophile lobby to end the career of a conservative cardinal. In 437, Emperor Valentinian III began his reign over the Western Roman Empire. His mother, Galla Placidia, ended her regency but continued to exercise political influence at the court of Rome. In 626, Li Shimin, the future Emperor Taizong of Tang, ambushed and killed his rival brothers Li Wenyai and Li Yancheng, and Zandwu Gate incident. 706, in China, Emperor Zhongzong of Tang interred the bodies of relatives of the Qianling Mausoleum, located on Mount Liang, outside Chang'an. 963, the imperial army proclaimed Nicephorus Phocas emperor of the Romans on the plains outside Cappadocian Caesarea. 1298, the Battle of Golheim was fought between Albert I of Habsburg and Adolf of Nassau-Weilburg. In 1613, the first English expedition from Massachusetts against Acadia, led by Samuel Argall, took place. 1644, English Civil War, Battle of Marston Moor. 1698, Thomas Savery patented the first steam engine. 1776, the Continental Congress adopted a resolution severing ties with the Kingdom of Great Britain, although the wording of the formal Declaration of Independence was not approved until the 4th of July. 1777, Vermont became the first American territory to abolish slavery. In 1816, the French frigate Medusa struck the Bank of Arguin, and 151 people on board had to be evacuated on an improvised raft, a case immortalized by Géricault's painting Raft of the Medusa. 1822, 35 slaves were hanged in South Carolina, including Denmark Vesey, after being accused of organizing a slave rebellion. In 1823, Bahá'í Independence Day, the end of Portuguese ruler in Brazil, with the final defeat of the Portuguese crown loyalists in the province of Bahia. 1839, 20 miles off the coast of Cuba, 53 rebelling African slaves led by Joseph Cinque took over the slave ship Amistad. In 1853, the Russian army crossed the Pruth River into the Danubian principalities, Moldavia and Wallachia, providing the spark that set off the Crimean War. In 1871, Victor Emmanuel II of Italy entered Rome after having conquered it from the Papal States. 1881, Charles J. Guiteau shot and fatally wounded U.S. President James Garfield, who eventually died from an infection on September the 19th. 1890, the U.S. Congress passed the Sherman Antitrust Act. 1897, Italian scientist Guglielmo Marconi obtained a patent for radio in London. 1934, the Night of the Long Knives ended with the death of Ernst Röhm. 1937, Amelia Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan were last heard from over the Pacific Ocean while attempting to make the first equatorial round-the-world flight.